Right, well, today we're going to start with particles. Let me get a share screen going here. So there's a new particle system. It's actually not that new, but the old legacy particle system, which you may see in some of the stuff that you find on the asset store, still works in Unity 2.17, but it's been deprecated from 2.18 and beyond. There are a couple of components that remain, in particular the line and trail renderers are still kind of legacy particle systems. The line renderer is fairly simple. If you have some object, maybe a rigid body component that would move, you can add a line renderer component. Alternatively, you can use a menu pull down, and from game objects effects line, you can create a line object. That's how this one was generated. This was generated with the menu pull down. The line renderer has a number of components, whether or not the line will cast shadows, what kind of material it has. By default, when you start one of these, it comes up with the default line, which is a legacy shader. Legacy shaders show in our shader menu, and it uses the legacy shader particles, alpha blended pre-multiply. And I should note that this shader does not cast shadows. If you want shadows, you should make your own material using Particles standard unlit shader. These are selectable from your material menu to make a particular shader. Lines have positions, a minimum of 2, the beginning and the end. And we can set the X, Y, and Z positions of the beginning and end, and any other points that you add. This is a 3D line. So here's this line, which has 4 positions, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, and 1, 0. And note I have the loop clicked, which closes that circle. The other parameters involve the width of the curve, the width of the line, which we can set with a curve, and the color, which we can set with a gradient. These are options here, a line and a color gradient that you can set. And of course, you can make as many key points on this as you want and make the line however you want. And the gradient is one of these color things where you can select different colors, different visibilities, or different transparencies and so forth. We'll look at these in more detail later. As I mentioned, there's the loop, which connects the ends and beginning to make a loop. And we have a choice. We can either use world space or we can make the positions relative to the object. In this case, I have I'm not using world space, which means that those coordinates, those 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, and so forth, are relative to the object. If I press world space, this thing disappears and it goes somewhere over here because those are now absolute coordinates within our world. So generally we'll leave that unchecked since we want our line to be where we want it to be. There's also an option for corner vertices and end caps. If I set up the corner vertices here. This will kind of round off the corners. And if I weren't looped and I up the end cap vertices, it also rounds off the end cap there. I'll set that back to 0 and that back to 0. And we have our nice square line that makes a loop. So that's the line renderer. I have a couple of lines here. This is one with a material, an opaque, or well, a transparent material. This is one using the default line renderer, and this is one using a standard particle unlit. And just for fun, this material circle has a script on it that is going to make a circle, and it will vary its size as I play. I can specify the number of points that I want here, and I can specify this. Let me close that so it doesn't. So I can vary the number of points in the line, and I can vary its radius, and this script will also make that circle expand and contract. One thing to notice with these things is that these lines are billboards. They always face the player. They always face the camera. So you can kind of see with these rotating objects that periodically it does something kind of funny where it flips those panels so that they always face the character or the camera. So the other sort of legacy one is a trail renderer. With a trail renderer, we have, again, two choices. On one of our bouncing spheres here, let me go to the other scene, the trail scene. So here's a ball. Oops. Here's a ball on which I've added a component, a trail renderer. So these components are available from the component pull down, effects, trail renderer, and that adds that component to that game object. Now the other way of doing it is to make a trail object. So we can, from effects, we can make a trail object and then make that the child of an object, and that object will then have a trail. The trail renderer has a number of components. Again, we have a material. This can either be the default line or one made yourself with the particle standard unlit shader. The time is how long the trail lasts in seconds. So as our object moves, we will see a trail left behind by it. So here I move the object, and there's the trail that it leaves behind. And that trail lasts for a certain number of seconds. We also have a width, again, specified with a curve, just like the line, and color specified with a gradient, just like the line. And we have various settings for how frequently the line makes a vertex. Small makes a smoother trail, but a larger distance is easier on the GPU. A really interesting setting on the trail renderer is the AutoDestruct button. And what this will do is it will delete the object when the trail is gone. That is, when the object has been at rest for time seconds and that trail has disappeared into the object, and has become 0 length. And this will destroy the object. In this case, it will destroy the pushable ball. However, in this case, it'll destroy the child. So if you wanted to destroy the actual object, the trail renderer has to be on that object, not a child. So let me run this and we'll see a bunch of trails come into existence. The cube there has an opaque material, one of the standard shader ones. And there, as the trail disappears into the cube, it and that other ball disappear. This one, if I can get it to stop, the trail will eventually disappear inside it. It actually has to stop completely. And this is not going to disappear because this is the ball that had the trail on it. And you'll notice the child is now gone with this. I have one other little thing in here. Of course, one of the things that we might use these for is to fire bullets. So here's, I'm firing objects, firing bullets, and the bullets have trail renderers on them, and so they go off into the distance and leave behind trails, which is a good effect with bullets. It makes you kind of appreciate them a little bit more. The other thing that's nice about this is that auto-destruct mechanism cleans up your bullets for you so they don't clutter up the scene. Otherwise, you have to explicitly destroy them yourself when you make them. So that's all very cool. And I'm going to stop sharing here. And I'm going to end the recording. So I'll see you all in class. Bye.